We, of course, have been reporting on Donald Trump's disastrous day yesterday in Washington, D.C., where he spoke to the Maga House Republicans about Hannibal Lecter being in a romantic relationship with Nancy Pelosi, or that Nancy Pelosi's daughter, who Trump called a wacko, claimed that Donald Trump and Nancy Pelosi could have been in a romantic relationship, which Nancy Pelosi's daughter was like, this is an unhinged, totally deranged person. Also, Donald Trump attacked the city of Milwaukee and said it is a horrible place. That's where the Republican National Convention is going to be taking place. But Donald Trump also found the time yesterday to call into a right-wing media network and tell them that he's planning on losing the debates on purpose to President Biden. Here, play the clip.
I'll lose the debate on purpose. Maybe I'll do something like that. But
I mean, we told you he's going to make all of these excuses and how terrified he is about debating. I still think that there's likely very little chance Donald Trump's actually going to debate, but he is going to send unhinged and deranged messages like this. I did a whole other take on these ridiculous emails that Donald Trump sends, but here's the new one he sent at 4:53 a.m. in the morning. Donald Trump writes, "Ben, I owe my life to you. It takes guts to stand up against the corrupt ruling class the way that you did. If it weren't for patriots like you, my campaign would have been dead and buried long ago, but our greatest battles are yet to come. Now that I've been wrongfully convicted of 34 fake felonies, I need you more than ever, so please rush me some money." Again, he's using this very dangerous rhetoric of dead and buried, and I owe my life to you. We've previously reported some of the other emails he's been writing where he claims that swamp creatures are trying to behead him in guillotines and that they're trying to behead the MAGA people. I mean, this is such unhinged stuff. Donald Trump also spent time on his social media platform attacking the MAGA Republican Bob Good, who, mind you, Donald Trump dressed up, had Bob Good show up to Donald Trump's criminal trial, wear the long red tie, praise Donald Trump and say how much he loves Donald Trump. And then Donald Trump repaid the favor by saying Bob Good is bad for Virginia. One of Donald Trump's posts as well, and right-wing media propaganda was in like real overdrive mode after Donald Trump said all of these deranged things in Washington, D.C. But then Donald Trump posted these like manipulated statements from President Biden and says, timeless quotes by Joe Biden. And then it's all of these statements that Joe Biden made where like they try to like cut him where he's like stuttering for a short period of time. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's out there rambling and talking about, as part of his speech, how he'd rather be electrocuted than eaten by sharks, and talking about the late, great Hannibal Lecter. Compare that, by the way, to what President Biden said today as well. President Biden is at the G7 meeting in Italy. And at the G7 meeting, one of the things that President Biden addressed is the fact that his son, Hunter Biden, was convicted of a felony or felonies relating to possessing a gun while being addicted to drugs in 2018. That's what the jury convicted Hunter for. At Hunter Biden's lowest point in his life as an addict, he's now recovered, and I think, showing a path towards recovery, but nonetheless, it's what the Republican Trump-appointed prosecutor went after him for. But we respect jury verdicts here on the MeidasTouch network. But here's what President Biden had to say. Play the clip.
I'm extremely proud of my son, Hunter. He has overcome an addiction. He's one of the brightest, most decent men I know. And I am satisfied that I'm not going to do anything. I said I abide by the jury decision, and I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
One of the things that Donald Trump put in that email as well that I want to mention is he goes, "I know times are tough because Biden has destroyed our country. So if you can't afford to donate, please don't even think about it." Well, Why don't we take a look at the headlines over just the past few days? Americans have more investment income than ever before. A booming economy and rising household wealth help some consumers keep spending up. Surprising U.S. economy is powering a better global outlook. The World Bank says the U.S. economy has reached superstar status. The United States has exceeded all estimates. It is the only country to exceed estimates from the World Bank in economic growth and is actually leading leading the world markets abroad. Also, one of the moves that President Biden made in connection with the G7 meeting is forging a 10-year cooperation agreement with Ukraine, ensuring that Ukraine has the weaponry it needs. Also, the United States Treasury Department imposing very serious sanctions on Vladimir Putin and Russia, which is actually hitting Russia very, very hard. But as Donald Trump tells his supporters that I know things are very hard, I mean, Donald Trump, you and Melania and the Trump family, you spent all your time grifting off of them, and now they're out there wearing shirts like this. I'm voting for the convicted felon, or real men wear diapers, and they show up with diapers to the Trump speeches. By the way, that's been fact-checked as true by Snopes. They're also wearing outfits like this. F me great again. Seem to have a lot of disposable income to be putting all of these things out. While all of this is going on, again, the propaganda media on Fox and others is saying Donald Trump never made these statements about Hannibal Lecter. That's fake news. That's a hoax. Here, for example, is Jesse Waters on Fox saying that Donald Trump would never say anything about Hannibal Lecter. Another hoax. Here, play this clip.
To work, doing what they do best.
Apparently, the former president made reference to Hannibal Lecter and said, nice guy, quote, he even had a friend over for dinner. So we've seen Trump out on the campaign trail praising Hannibal Lecter. Apparently he did it again this morning. Not sure we fully understand the context of that.
We weren't inside the room, but neither was CNN, and that's the point. So we did what journalists do. We went to our sources who were actually there. Did Trump really call a flesh-eating serial killer a nice guy? No. Trump was joking that if he said something about Hannibal Lecter, the fake news media would say he was praising him. And CNN took the bait.
And by the way, here is what they reported on CNN, saying that, yes, Donald Trump was talking about Hannibal Lecter. Play this clip.
And Lauren, and I will note from our Melanie Zanona, who was in the room and sending some of these tidbits out, apparently the former president made reference to Hannibal Lecter and said, nice guy, quote, he even had a friend over for dinner. So we've seen Trump out on the campaign trail praising Hannibal Lecter. Apparently he did it again this morning. Not sure we fully understand the context of that, but thanks to both of you. Appreciate it. Coming up.
And here's the thing. We know that Donald Trump talks about that over and over again. Like, he spoke about Hannibal Lecter at Wildwood, New Jersey. There's quite literally tape of Donald Trump talking about Hannibal Lecter. Here, play this clip.
Silence of the Lambs. Has anyone ever seen The Silence of the Lambs? The late, great Hannibal Lecter is a wonderful man. He oftentimes would have a friend for dinner. Remember the last scene? Excuse me, I'm about to have a friend for dinner. As this poor doctor walked by. I'm about to have a friend for dinner, but Hannibal Lecter, congratulations, the late, great Hannibal Lecter. We have people that are being released into our country that we don't want in our country.
And then Donald Trump talks about, it's part of his speech. It's part of his stump speech. He doesn't talk about policies or what he can deliver for the American people. That's just what he talks about. Here, play this clip of him talking about Hannibal Lecter again at another speech. Play this clip.
Why? Because that's a vicious thing. I said, that's Silence of the Lamb. You know what that is? Has anybody seen Silence of the Lambs? Hannibal Lecter, how great an actor was he? You know why I like him? Because he said on television, on one of the, I love Donald Trump, so I love him. I love him. I love him. He said that a long time ago, and once he said that, he was in my camp. I was in his camp. Yeah, I don't care if he was the worst actor. I'd say he was great to me.
But the MAGA Republicans in Congress are kind of eating this up. Here you have Mitch McConnell shaking Donald Trump's hand and Donald Trump putting his hand over Mitch McConnell's hand. So utterly strange. Let me just show you this, though. This is President Biden speaking at the G7, a very important speech. Here, play this clip.
2.5 years ago, Putin unleashed a brutal war on Ukraine. And it's been a horrifying ordeal for the Ukrainian people who are so brave and incredible. It's also been a test for the world. Would we stand with Ukraine? Would we stand for sovereignty, freedom, and against tyranny? The United States, the G7, and countries around the world have consistently answered the question by saying, yes, we will. We will say it again. Yes, again and again and again. We're going to stand with Ukraine. And thank you, and I now yield to my friend from Ukraine.
So with President Biden giving very powerful speeches like that, how does the MAGA Republicans respond, and what do? They know, you've got Donald Trump ranting and raving like a lunatic about Hannibal Lecter and attacking this great city of Milwaukee and talking about being in romantic relationships with Nancy Pelosi and saying that the DOJ are a bunch of bastards. I mean, that's what Donald Trump was talking about. Meanwhile, the contrast with President Biden at the G7, here's what they do. So you have, let me show you the first clip. This is President Biden at the G7. And what you'll see there is that there were skydivers who did a demonstration, and Biden walks over and gives the skydivers the thumbs up. So let me just show you the full video of what really went down. Play this clip. And then here is what New York Post, and this is what Fox, New York Post, RNC, what they all ran. And this is what they pump this disinfo into all of their followers. They artificially cut the frame so that, or narrow the frame so viewers don't see that he's looking at the skydivers who just jumped down. So they can say, look, Biden's lost. Biden doesn't know where he is. Here, play this clip. I don't know about you, but I am sick and tired of that right-wing propaganda machine that just lies North Korea style, Russia disinformation style. That's so pathetic that exists here in the United States of America. We should be giving the people the real news of what's actually going on. I do want to mention as well, speaking about delivering the real news, the Senate Republicans blocked the IVF protection bill introduced by Democrats in the Senate. They refused to protect IVF treatments for infertile couples from state bans. It required a 60-vote threshold, and the MAGA Republicans voted against it and blocked it. Remember, a week ago or so, or 2 weeks ago, they also voted against the Right to Contraception Act. So don't listen to what they're saying, or if you want to listen to what they're saying, watch what they are actually doing as well. You can listen to their words, but watch their actions. And when you do that for Donald Trump, unhinged, dangerous, and dare I say, completely traitorous and anathema to what our values are here in this incredible democracy that we live in. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million together. Thanks for watching.
Enough! Send it to the big house, not the White House. Get the new exclusive tees, mugs, and stickers right now at store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.